Thank you so much, Bruce. Now I'm going to blush for the rest of the rest of the day. It, it's so great to see you guys over here. I just want to say that all of us carry a landscape in our heart, right? So if you think about it for a second or two, you could imagine that landscape that you carry in your heart. So here is one of the landscapes that I carry in the heart. It's in the middle of Europe, in Czech Republic, steeped in kind of old history and, and in human labor, a landscape that has been worked and reworked for thousands of years, with imaginations of the sacred kind of scattered through the landscape. There's a little countryside chapel over there that is very, very, very common. Okay, so a person with this landscape suddenly gets plopped into this. It's about to happen to you, right? It's about to happen to you. So this is beautiful. This is the bottomless pit on Pikes Peak, or this is the Willow Lake close to Crestone, close to our Baca campus. It's beautiful. But here's a question. Can you call it home? Right? That's the question. Can you call it home? What does it take to call it home? Well, it takes knowing it, and it takes time. And it takes direct interaction with that place. You want to have a relationship with the place good enough that you could be a rock on the hillside or a cactus in the ground, or you could have the rock or cactus be your buddy and hold your space in there while you're taking classes. So, so how do you get there? How do you get to a point where the landscape is giving you life, right? Where you feel alive, like really alive when you're in that landscape. Well, something that it takes is knowing how to read it, having some sense of where you are. So let me give you a tour, first a geology sort of tour and then an ecology tour of where you are. So you guys seen the mountains, yeah? They're right behind you. And so these mountains are maybe why we are here. Any idea how old? That rock in Pikes Peak granite is 1 billion years old. So that's a long, long time. As a matter of fact, this place is somehow good for being mountains because the mountains are here for the third time. In case you like the Rockies, there were Rockies 1.0, Rockies 2.0, and this is Rockies 3.0. It, it took about 300 million years for us to get to the Rockies 3.0, but they are pretty good. Okay, so we start with the billion-year-old Pikes Peak granite, and then actually for another 500,000,000 years, we don't know what was going on over here. But about 500 million years ago, this limestone up there was laid down in a shallow sea, and this is close to Manitou Springs, just off of the foothills of Pikes Peak, and there are trilobites in there. At this point, no land plants on the ground, a lot of really cool life in the sea, and the earth is about to freeze into an ice ball. That's crazy, huh? Okay, cool. So as you're moving away from Pikes Peak, from this limestone, you end up in the Garden of the Gods in the Red Rock open space. And the rocks in there tell the stories of these gigantic ferns and early land plants. There are rocks in there, secret locations, that have dinosaur bones in them. Um, there are stories here, and this is true of the whole place, of the place going between a beach site resort next to an inland sea and mountains and flat plains. So we've been at home at the sea over here for a long time. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so right underneath your feet is is the next big section of rocks, and that's about a mile thick layer of fossilized fish poop. It's true. Go look at into the rocks that make the bottom of Fountain Creek, and you'll find mussels in there. Don't make chowder. It's going to kind of grind your teeth if, if you do. So right underneath you, a mile of fossilized fish poop. Okay, now if you move on east from us, you run into rocks that are on the Cretaceous Tertiary boundary. You remember the extinction of dinosaurs, right? You can take your finger and you can actually, oops, run through a layer of rock with your finger to where the dinosaurs got extinct. That's cool, right? That's cool. That's connecting to a place. And then a little further east are these cool layers of colorful soil with rainforest leaves in them and so forth. Pikes Peak itself, when you look at it, has been shaped by forces of glaciation. So oops, these U-shaped valleys, right, are all over. Okay, so it's been a beachside sort of place. It's been a rainforest. It's been a lot of things. It's not wet anymore, you know. Most of our water actually comes from thunderstorms, and they look sort of like this. And these thunderstorms bring in moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. There's only about 15 inches of water in our landscape. Not enough to have any agriculture by itself, right? So you have to irrigate to grow food, and you'll hear a bunch about that in a little bit. So you are living in a high mountain grassland to a high mountain desert. So something that we need to remember. Okay, so if we cannot take a look at the life zones over here, where we are standing now used to be the short grass prairie, and this grama grass over here would be the dominant grass type. These grasses have little seed heads that look like your grandma's eyebrows. So that's why they are called grandma grass. And, and they lived in close association with the bison and the prairie dog. So it's the bison and the prairie dog that you have to thank for the soil that we have over here. Moving up the hill a little bit, we have pinyon juniper scrub. And so there are some cool plants out there. How many of you guys like pesto? Probably a bunch of us like pesto. Yeah, I like pesto too. Okay, so the pesto pine is growing in Garden of the Gods. You know the pesto pine is the pinyon pine. The pinyon pine makes seeds about every 3 years, and they are so big that they don't fly by themselves. They just plop to the ground. So they have to have birds, in this case jays, that go and bury them in the ground as food caches for them to grow out. Okay, just above the pesto pines is a forest of Douglas fir and ponderosa pine. And this is a fire forest. It used to be maintained by small kind of gentle fires about every 6 years, but we've kind of let it go unburned for too long, and so now we've been getting fires that are not gentle and not every 6 years. This is a picture of pyrocumulus, where the heat from the fire on the ground is actually making a thunderstorm cloud. And we had these 2 years in a row, luckily not this year, but last year there was one, and the year before too. Okay, so ponderosa pine and Douglas fir forest don't leave fires unattended. Okay, please, please, please. A little higher up in there are aspen meadows with limber pines. Limber pines are also very interesting. So with limber pines, they also have seeds that are dispersed by animals. In this case, Clark's nutcrackers. And the Clark's nutcrackers have a pocket under their tongue that holds 23 seeds or so. And then they plant them in bunches. I mean, imagine holding 23 seeds under your tongue. That'd be difficult to talk, huh? Okay, so they plant them in places, and then all of the seeds germinate and grow together. A lot of plants kill each other at this proximity, but the plants don't. The plants fuse into a single tree with every branch coming from a different seed. and that gives the plant a lot of resilience. So a nice kind of image, I think, to hold into one's head. A little higher up is the tree line, and here, this is my field site with my field crew this year. We were hanging out there doing some meteorology measurements. These are Engelmann spruce, and on very exposed ridges, you get bristlecone pines. And again, some secret locations close by to campus have these pines be 2,500 years old. So old, 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 much older than me. Okay, even higher up is a tundra, and this tundra has the biggest expanse of diversity that you would see here on like a 3-foot by 3-foot area, so that's about this big. You find 20 to 30 species of wildflowers. So think about beautiful. Okay, there we go. Okay, so where do I find myself in this habitat, right? So I like to climb up trees on tree line and blow bubbles and take some courses, and you guys will figure out why. Okay, so this is it from me, and next I'd like to introduce our water video, right?